So when, in fact, our leaders, our teachers, or just us, we are all focused on trying to get bigger, better, more powerful information so that we can, man, when the Moors come, I want to be able to drop this bomb on them. You know what, man? I'm tired of them Kemetic dudes, man. When they come through, I want to be able to drop this bomb on them, man. Man, the Muslims, they better leave us alone, man. They ain't really real. They was trained by Arabs. So we're going to go and we're going to spend a lot of time trying to prove that they came from the Arabs. And basically what happens is, as you train everybody's attention on that useless task, then what it does is it affects the quality of life on those in your group, because as I said before, two objects can't occupy the same space. If you're focused on trying to come up with new and greater information to disprove or destroy another nation, then you can't be focused on your own quality of life. Boom. That's where we're going with this. Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, King and person, Master Muhammad, I bear witness there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last and greatest messenger. And we of 13 Revolution can never thank Allah enough for our teacher, the Honorable Minister Lil X. Brothers and sisters, I greet you once again with the humble greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. It is my pleasure and my honor to be here tonight, to have the blessing and opportunity to share the Word of God and perspective of the life-giving message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and to continue to build our case for a self-contained nation within a nation, as well as eventually a nation of our own. We're so grateful to Allah for those who have taken time out of your busy schedule here, we have to say, because there's many things that you could be doing. It's a Sunday night, and you might be getting yourself ready for work during the week, your children ready for school, spending time with your family, maybe even watching a movie. So if you're getting this live, we appreciate you. If you're getting this by download, by archive, or whatever form of media, brothers and sisters, we genuinely appreciate that, and we appreciate you. This is a show that I, sort of like a show that I did a while ago. I want to say about 2 years ago. And I listened to the show, and like I always tell you, brothers and sisters, I try to enter into commentary with the younger me, and that's the blessing of doing Blog Talk Radio. If you're consistent over the years and you've put out enough shows with ideas that you may have come across or have come from you through your studies and, through the drawing out of the information, what happens is that as you get older, you may look at it a different way, but at the same time, the younger you may bring you back into line with your core principles. And I looked at this show, and I looked at the current environment, the current debating environment, the current, hot, toxic, hostile environment in the conscious community. But really, brothers and sisters, when I say conscious community, I don't want to be broad. I don't want to be general. So I want to be very specific. The foolishness and the back and forth that go on in the black Muslim community, specifically members or followers of the message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad who purport to be inside the Nation of Islam construct. And so, therefore, what you see a lot is a lot of going back and forth, a lot of bickering, a lot of threats being given. And I want to share a story with you, brothers and sisters. As a young soldier that did my time on the streets, selling papers, inviting people to services, helping people to do what they needed to do, advising people, things like that. I can remember, in my early days when I had spent the summer in Harlem and was a member of, at that particular time, what's known as Mosque Number 7, which happened to be headquartered in the National Black Theater. So we would be out there that summer. It was a very hot summer, and selling papers and stuff like that, and the objective was to get the word out to as many people, at least this is what the objective, this is what was told to us. The objective was to get the word out to as many people as possible. You had to be professional. You had to be very focused. You didn't want to stop, for anything foolish. And oftentimes what would happen is you would come across a brother of a given faith that did not really appreciate you being out there. Most times it was a brother of the Hebrew Israelite persuasion. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not clowning your belief. I'm not clowning your movement. I'm just telling you that when I used to soldier in Harlem in 1991/1992, pretty much the summer of 1992, that's the person I came across that would display the behavior that I'm about to, I'm about to talk about. And what would happen is that usually the brother would come up to you and act like he wanted to get your paper. And when he did, he would take the paper in his hand, pretend like he was interested, and then try to spew some kind of Hebrew Israelite doctrine to try to trip you up or befuddle you. So, you mean brothers and sisters, listen, this kind of waste of time used to really annoy me because I was not only in the Nation of Islam construct because I believed in the teaching, loved the teaching, and loved my brothers and sisters, but quite frankly, brothers and sisters, I was in that construct because I really needed help. I was a man that was running the streets, was drinking alcohol, like I told you before, drinking a 43 times a day, hanging out with the wrong people, selling drugs, all sorts of stuff. And that's not what my upbringing was. That's not what I did in my upbringing, but that's what I degenerated into because I went to school and failed school, came home, and really didn't have any direction, no, given strategic goal in life. So therefore, when this person, and it's usually, it was always a different person, would come up to me and do this after the fourth or fifth time, I realized what they were doing, and I wouldn't pay them no mind, so then they would get really belligerent because as far as they was concerned, it did not matter that I was doing better. It did not matter that I was cleaned up. It did not matter that my life was good. What mattered to them is that their information was better than mine, their information was stronger than mine, and that they had to do anything that they could to slow me down from giving out what I was giving and come to their way of thinking and doing. This is what I call the info arms race. This is where you go and you try to stockpile your information, your message, your rituals, your beliefs, your practices, and get as good as you can at what you do with the express purpose not of trying to clean another person up, because I was already cleaned up, and so were the men on the other corners, not for the purpose of trying to get me a better lifestyle, better quality of life, better job, better business, help me to do right by my children, anything like that, but for one purpose and one purpose only, and that was that you have to see things the way I see things. You have to come across or come over to my lifestyle, and if you don't, you are no good, and I have to do what I can to whip you, and every day I don't whip you, every day I don't beat you, every day I don't bring you to my way of thinking and my way of thought, I have to go home and sharpen up and study more and read more to get better. And 9 times out of 10, brothers and sisters, I got to be real with you. That person that was trying to stop me from doing what I was doing looked like he had not taken a shower in days, looked like he had not shaved in days, looked like he didn't have a piece of lint, 2 pieces of lint to rub together and make a flint in his pocket. But as far as he was concerned, he had much more than me because he had the truth. You see, brothers and sisters, years ago, to rehash it, years ago, the Soviet Union and the United States got into what was called the nuclear arms race. Are you familiar with that? The nuclear arms race was basically a buildup and stockpiling of nuclear weapons between the United States and Soviet Union, commonly known as Russia. Now understand that when World War II was ended, by the fact that, or officially ended, by the fact that the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Nagasaki, that scared the living crap out of Russia. That scared the living crap out of them. Now, intelligence has revealed to us that they was already in development of their own atomic bomb. But when they saw that the United States had this capability, that scared the hell out of them because they thought or they felt inside their hearts that they could not bargain with the United States or deal with the United States from a position of strength. So they set across the task, put their finest scientists, put all of their resources, put all of their people behind the gathering, the acquiring, and the massing of as many atomic bombs as they could had more nuclear power than they did, that they were a threat and that the United States would not take them seriously. Well, this was a period between, basically, brothers and sisters, the arms race in the Cold War was a period between 1982 and 1991. Now, what's funny is that, there was a time period, I want to say like maybe a year and a half ago, where, basically Hollywood began to reflect this time. You know what I'm saying? They did it in the X-Men, Origins. They also did it in the movie Transformers, Dark of Moon, I believe. And they started talking about this in some of the spy movies also. And the question is, what were they trying to tell you? But either way, that's neither here nor there, because that's more on the political side. But I really want to deal with the spiritual side, and I want to deal with the physical side more so too. So what happens, brothers and sisters, is this. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. And why did it collapse? Did it collapse because basically they ran out of steam? Did it collapse because they ran out of money? Did it collapse because the people, led a successful revolution and overthrew the Soviet Union? Well, if you go to any good military history source, or even just go to Wikipedia, even if you do that, people speak against it, but it is what it is. You will find out that as the United States appeared to be focusing nuclear weapons to basically fight against Russia, the United States was, in fact, stockpiling some weapons, but at the same time, the United States began to have a boom in economy and economic growth and development and recovery. And the United States was focusing more on the quality of the white the white American's life, and less on the quality of the military and what the military could do, although they continued to put up a good front of staying in this arms race and staying in the focus of these weapons. The stupid Russian continued to stockpile his weapons, her people, and devote all their resources to that. At the same time, understand that Russia was fighting a war in Afghanistan, which was a quagmire, basically sucking out their resources, their younger men, their money, their weapons, and all that other stuff, throwing billions of dollars into this war that they could not win because it was in another person's terrain. The other person had no particular stable geopolitical strategy or stable government and stable, basically stable civilization. And they continued to fight this war, which they hadn't been fighting in the first place, which sucked their resources. So what I'm telling you is the focus on aggression, the focus on the stockpile of weapons, the focus on trying to the next man in the next country caused the ruin of the Soviet Union. Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. When I used to work at a certain locksmith a couple of years ago, and we're going back like about 10, 11 years ago, I used to have a coworker, and he was from Belarus. And, one day we had a little bit of time, so I said, yo, man, why did you come over here? And he goes to me, he goes, you know something? He goes, in my country, he goes, there's no food on shelf. There was no food on shelf. He goes, there's no clean water. He said, I had to get out of there to come over here. Do you understand what I'm saying to you today? We are now in a period where we need to focus on the reconstruction of many different things in the black community. And the most important resource that I have, that you have, that we have, is the people. However, the people are not really valuable to us unless they are enriched by a mastery of a place in a high-level society, of their place in a high-level society, basically determined by what skill, what art that they have. And if you are not a skilled administrative person, if you're not a skilled laboring person, if you don't have another way to add to society other than the ability to run your mouth, to write books, to post videos, and to fight on Facebook, you have no use to us because we're past that time. We're now part of a time called the Reconstruction. We got to rebuild this thing. And if all you can think of to carve out your society, to carve out your niche in this new society, is to build more information, spend all night up studying so that you can slow down the other man, you are no use to us, and you need to go.